I didn't really develop a new bicycle. I took the experience from the most powerful LA-based talent agencies, and I simplified it into a straightforward system.
Every great business begins with a bold idea. Welcome to Mission Entrepreneurship, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of extraordinary entrepreneurs who've defied the odds. Discover the relentless spirit and creative minds of those who dared to innovate and take risks. Together, we'll reveal the grit and determination it takes to achieve the unthinkable mission of entrepreneurship. If you choose to accept it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mission Entrepreneurship. My name is Stephen Allman. I am the owner and operator of Arizona Off-Grid Solutions and a professional actor. Today, I'm joined with Victor Migalchan, who is a producer, director, martial artist. The list kind of keeps going on and on and on. He runs Movieverse Entertainment, and he has joined us today. Victor, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, all right, all right. Thank you for having me.
So, yeah, all right, all right, all right.
That's a
Freaking,
catchy. That's a catchy phrase. I learned it from you when we were filming in Florida.
yeah, yeah,
It's stuck.
freaking,
It's stuck with me forever.
yeah. The Matthew McConaughey. Yes, all right, all right, all right. Anyway, so Victor, I've known you for a little bit. I'm very, very pleased to have done some work with you in the past, and but what we like to try to get to here is, first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself and kind of give us like a brief, explanation of what you do currently and some of the things that you got going on.
Well, I would say that my title as my business card, right? My business name, my brand would go as a film director, filmmaker, showrunner. I publish books. I published 3 books so far, and I got 2 top sellers on Amazon. My main specialty is branding, and I run everything around branding because that's what Hollywood actually does. It's not just film. It's it's one of the it's one of the most powerful branding and marketing tools in the world, if not the most. And I got to figure it out quite fast after I moved to Los Angeles from New York in 2015. Sorry. And that's what I do. I work with small businesses. I work with NFIB, which is National Federation of Independent Businesses, with SBA, which is Small Business Administration. I love contributing to the community. And I love the advice given by Dorian Yates, 7-time Mr. Olympia. When your day goes bunkers, just go out and do something good. Give a sandwich to a homeless, right? So that's what I've been doing. And whatever I do, I begin with how would I bring value to a person who I'm meeting or to the business who I'm meeting, and I build from there. Aside of that, as you know, the creative side is I create TV shows mainly for kids and families. I perceive and I promote certain values, and on the film side now, because my focus is my own growing and learning, it's documentaries. And my goal, which I'm already actually developing, is a mix of thriller, drama, and action in film. So something light, comedy, family, and TV, and quite heavy in film, which when you see in the big screen, would make people feel sick to their stomach, with an idea of having them think about it and hopefully make a change.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of your values definitely shine through your work. I've seen a bit of it, especially My American Family, Life Academy, and I have experienced some of the changes and work that you've done throughout your career. Now, one of the biggest things that I want to get into is give us a background. Tell me where you started, and tell me a bit about the journey to get to where you're at. You know, some of the things that have happened that you didn't expect, and some of the things like tell us a little bit about where it all started for Victor.
Well, I guess I would begin with my father, who was and is an entrepreneur, and I was involved with him in business since I was probably 5 or 6. I knew Incoterms for international trade probably sooner and better than ABC back then, and it was a journey. I worked for the government. I worked for a Swiss bank, and I figured that I would rather make 50K and work for myself than 200,000 working for someone else, especially when I deal with, well, not being cocky, but with dumber people who perceive themselves as smarter. Now, I believe that when you hire people to work with you need to hire people who are better than you, but then you behave accordingly, right? So you appreciate, you respect, you let them do what they do the best, and that's how you delegate. In my experience, that was a little bit the opposite, and dealing with kind of dumb people, and no disrespect, just it happened what it happened, right? Um, I felt that it's degrading me because there's no goal. It's just moving papers from here to there. So I felt like I'm too young to get rusty and end up with just a salary. And I just dove into the business, and how I started in the entertainment in Los Angeles. I won a few martial arts tournaments worldwide, and I got invited to the first feature film. Was an indie film, nothing major, and then the second one. And what I saw that the folks are might be good with film with camera, but their efficiency and their math regarding the time and management and finances weren't as good. So I figured that with my knowledge in business and math, that's my strong side, and I perceive that. That's why producing comes as my second role, not my main title, but it's a strong side. And to cut the long story short, I would say that it's not just one event in my life that brought me. It's a chain, which includes um, being homeless in LA because of dating a wrong person, and for me, and learning about that, learning self love, learning how to be happy, um, dealing with the heritage of the past of my own and my generational garbage. So it's a complex work which begins, my work is not only saying camera action, right? It's you have to wake up in the morning, you have to brush your teeth, you have to make your bed, you do all the discipline stuff, you work out because that's your best outfit, right? If you're chubby, even if you have a very expensive suit, it sucks, and people wouldn't trust me being chubby and healthy as they would if I'm fit and strong and healthy. So all of these are chains of actions, and I'm still going. I don't think that I achieved something to stop. I'm moving, and I still get a lot of challenges to deal with. Many of them you know of, and it's fun. It's fun. I don't get depressed. I get deep into it. I learn why it's happening. What is it I'm supposed to learn? It gets me excited.
Was just understanding that everything you do is a journey. Because I know that, like, whenever I talk to you, you're like, I'm like, hey, what's you working? And it's like your love is your work. That's one
Indeed.
thing I've learned about you is that diving into the problems and figuring them out and learning and finding the solutions. Because I have a saying where um um you if you don't make enough mistakes or deal with enough adversity, you don't have enough wisdom. Like all of that comes from mistakes and adversity. It's how you're defined as a person based on how you answer adversity. You
Right.
know, everybody's great when the cards are up, but like what happens when it all falls down? Um, one thing I want to touch on is I know that you are not originally from the United States. And what was it like coming into a culture and a country that is different from where what you're accustomed to?
Well, I grew up in multicultural environment. It was European, so obviously it's different. My first step when I came to New York, I went to Manhattan, the Battery Park. I felt like this is my home, right? Not Europe as much as I love Romania, Austria, Poland. It's small, it's slow, and it's kind of suffocating, right? When I came to the US, I felt it's home. I don't want to sound cheesy or something like, but that's how I felt. Now, back then, I didn't have a proper visa to stay, right? And I had a thought of it felt romantic back then, like to remain illegal and sell hot dogs in New York. I don't know why I felt that, and it was just like a romantic movie playing in front of my eyes, like me selling hot dogs and New York City and people. I love New York City. But then my uncle, who lives in New York, he said that it's better that you go back, you achieve something more than you have now. He didn't know too much, and you come back as someone, and then America would openly embrace you. And that's what I did. I was going back and forth, competing, running business, doing whatever I could have done. America presents way more opportunities in self education than anywhere in the world. Uh, like for us in Europe, the rich dad, poor dad concept was like something far, far away, not tangible, right? If I would tell my parents about that, they will look at me like, "Are you nuts?" So that's how I decided to move in. I wanted to move to the United States and develop here. I wanted to develop amongst the best and amongst the biggest competition. I figured that competition is not something that I would want to worry about. It's something that I can shine and have it as my background because I do have something that I can offer to the country, to the community. And then I think the money comes, which I ended up proving. Now, from funny and cultural things, back in Europe, we grew up watching films and we had no much of a re- reality connection to the history and historical things. Like to say the N word for us back in Europe was just like, hey, buddy, right? Like my bro, my brother. We're not black, obviously, but we would call each other like that and would have no idea what's behind.
Mm.
So I came to New York and I was in the store with my uncle and a few black young people came in and oh, my brothers, and without hate, but like with brother. My uncle is kind of he's white. He was pale at that moment, and I was like, happy, and he was like, never ever do that again. I'm like, why? My brothers came. Like, no, 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 you don't know. Like, okay, let me study. So then I studied, and it's just one of the funniest. It was my first day, right? Because I arrived, it was the nighttime, and that's the morning, and boom, and that's that's the fun part.
Welcome to America.
It's fun. It's fun. I love it. You know, a lot of people they are talking trash. Immigrants or people who are born here. I would say privileged to be born here.
Mhm.
I think that they don't see America as it is. We're not striving here to live in a socialist country in which uh, we have no homeless or, yeah, it's an issue, but still, my point is, it's not about having or not having poop on the street or someone peeing on the street. Think of the Wild West. It's the country of drive and opportunities.
Yeah.
If you want to have no homeless, if you want to have no poop on the street, well, go to China or go to Germany, right? Um, it's totally different.
Mhm.
And instead of just talking trash, like, hey, this is a different country. This is the best country in the world, and it gives us opportunity to study and be the best. And you don't need to talk trash about the educational system. because it's designed for something and something minimalistic, like a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned so many cultural things which had I wouldn't have had chance to do in Europe or Asia, anywhere else. I've connected with different Latinos communities. That's how my American family was born. I've connected with many Asian communities, with Black community, with basically everyone, and it's a blast.
Mhm. Yeah, I always say that what a lot of people don't understand is that with freedom comes responsibility and work.
Yeah,
If you want to have things handed to you, you can go to a country and have things handed to you. But the thing is you can never bite the hand that feeds you. This is the one country where you decide, um, I'm going to go feed myself and then I'm going to build myself. So, the education system is based for a baseline, and then you get to decide your path from there. It's not
right,
yeah, it's not. Some people are like, they should teach us about stock market. They should teach us about. Well, the thing is this is that the people who made it rich in the stock market went out after school and learned how to work a stock market because that's what they wanted to do. A lot of people are expecting, oh, they should give us this free college. They should give us. It's like, if they started giving free college to everybody, there would just be a more extended degree out there that you got to get to that would be worth what's a bachelor's degree is worth right now, because there'll be those people that were striving above what was given for free. Because that's the whole thing is like there's people who strive, people who don't. There's one country where you have an opportunity to be anything that you want to be. You just have to work for it. You have to
right,
do it.
right.
So another point that I would like to get to, it I found a lot with entrepreneurs that there is this one point, one or two, there might be a few, that led to pivots or something like that. But there's usually this point that a lot of entrepreneurs can look to, a point where they felt like a failure, or they felt like there's a choice that needs to be made here, where you decide in that moment what you're going to do, what you need to do, and nothing's stopping you. And that's usually where success is really really built off of that moment. Did you have a moment like that, and would you tell us about it?
Um, Definitely. I had multiple moments, beginning with my parents, who are, traditional conservative Europeans, who they wanted me to get a master degree, get a PhD, get a job, work for the government, and that's it. And I would say, they were my biggest naysayers. They still kind of are, but because of the distance, and thank God my sisters have kids, they are more focused on other stuff. But that was my probably the most challenging thing to overcome while I was a kid, with my own belief, with my own thing. And I still kept competing and developing in the business, trying to figure things out. Not really having too much of access to useful information. And the same thing happened with personal relationships. And then, like, when I would hear something like that, I would just, okay, cut, move on. With what I do, um, I feel a lot of love to it. And I'm a faithful person, as a Christian, and I believe in what I do to bring good and serve as God's servant. So I don't think that it's going to be any issues with what I do. I don't strive to be the most, like, the richest, or have the most cars, or have the most real estate. I don't really care about that. I have my bottom minimum, which I want to have for life, and just to enjoy it, because life is short. I see issues in educational system. I see issues in healthcare or food, but it's not the country; it's the people. And what I do, I just try to impact it in a good way to change something. As you know, Life Academy, with education for kids and marketing and business, um, with water, right, which is for drinking, for irrigation, for we have the built prototype already, which doesn't exist anymore, anywhere in the world. um, and let's say we make 200 million with it. Well, great. Now I have money to donate to educational institution I trust. I have some to donate to uh, your organization. I have resource to help the veterans because I have a very soft spot for veterans in my heart. And it's just something to share because something great is to share.
Yeah, that's where I think a lot of people. I remember during my journey, I learned somewhere that as an entrepreneur and everything, it's always there's like a karma that also comes with everything, where it's like, hey, you don't get somewhere on your own, you don't leave other people behind, and it's all about elevating everything around, right? And sharing and going for causes you believe in, because as entrepreneurs we want everything to rise around us with us, because as everything else goes up, like we go up and everything, and it's all just this beautiful what's the word I'm looking for, it's this beautiful orchestra that you try to work out, but you're a master of your own destiny and master of your own life.
Right.
And so tell us a little bit about, because you said that you work with branding now. Could you tell us a little bit about your branding, and a little bit about what you do with all that and everything, and how important it is to have branding? Like I know that Carly's done a lot of my branding for my business, and it's been amazing. I walk around everywhere, and people just call me the solar guy no matter where I go. So, if you could tell us a little bit more about all that.
Well, brand is what people know you for, and that's why they would come to you instead of any other businesses, right? So it's something that make you stand out. And we'll just compare. You could buy a T-shirt at H&M or 20 Forever 21 or Gucci, right? So you want to be Gucci if you want to make money. If you have no goals and ambition to make money, then probably branding is not for you. And branding is something is that's done uh, consistently, persistently, uh, per a certain period of time, right? So don't expect a shortcut. It's a lot of work to do. It's systematic work, and the goal is, why do we have to do it? To monetize your brand, to monetize your knowledge. In the beginning, when we start, we're paid for our work, for the time. Then you're paid for your knowledge, and then you're paid for your brand, for your name, right? So that's the goal of it. And my focus, based on my experience in LA for the last 10 years, is efficient uh, production and monetization of the brand. If you go to any LA-based PR managers with resources, if it's a PR manager in other state or city, doesn't matter because the resources are not there. They would just put you on a retainer with some maybe publications, maybe events, a lot of maybes. And what we all want, and that's why I developed this section in the company and on my own, is I felt irritated because I paid money and got really nothing in return. Um, it is true that if you're great at what you do and no one knows about it, you're nothing. But let's say with a PR manager, you're getting an article. There's no guarantee that people read it. So you have to build a whole system around you and look at the best people in the world in terms of branding. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. Everything was systematic work, beginning with little photos, ending up with writing scripts, attending events, content, media. They worked as a system. And then I dove into my studies and figure out that you have to be with branding, aggressive. I love competition. Like, it drives me so happy, and in a happy way crazy, when I work with my clients and we just beat the competition. You have to know what you do, right? If you don't be a salesman who sells crap. It's not ethical. And be sharp at what you do, right? It cannot be sloppy, it cannot be slow. You have to be ahead of the wave. And if now it's the best time for, let's say, attending an event, you have to go, or you have to take your client to an event if it's the best time to publish a video, then publish a video, not vice versa, or just something for whatever, right? If you only do, let's say, reels, like a lot of video production companies will do reels for you, will do a brand video. Well, if the market is not ready for that, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of resource, and reviving it later would cost you a lot more. You have to do the pre-marketing research. You have to feel out what's the best to begin with, how to position your client, your brand right now, because the market is so saturated. And then check your competition. What is that they have that you don't, and vice versa, and start playing strong. Obviously, people need to have budget for that. It's like you're going to the war. You can't go to the war underfinanced,
Yeah.
right? And be ready for at least 6 months to 2 years of consistent, persistent work on your brand. But then it pays off tremendously. Think of 10 times at least. Um, I've tested it on me, obviously, because I came to LA knowing nothing and nobody. I started with bringing value, and I started figuring out this system of which step should I take now versus just doing whatever someone would tell me, because honestly, they didn't really care. People, businesses right now that I've worked with in the past, most of them, they would care about me, for me, before the check arrives to their office. As long as the money are in their account, it's just whatever, right? And that was not pleasant, and that's what I believe is not that the businesses should do. And that's one of my policies. I'm guiding the client in and out, and we work for results, right? It's not about, hey, I'm from 9 to 5. No, it's a 24-hour work because it's my passion. I want to have my client beat the competition, beat the hell out of them, and grow from one clinic to 5 and 6, or from 1 to 5 restaurants, right? So, to cut the long story short, it's a systematic type of work, which I didn't really develop a new bicycle. I took the experience from the most powerful LA-based talent agencies, WME or CAA, UTA. They work with the biggest brands, Coca-Cola, Mercedes, stuff like that. And I simplified it into a straightforward system, which
Mhm.
is applicable for small, medium businesses, individuals, people who want to make money, actually. And we took away all the bureaucracy, all the nonsense, which works.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people are experiencing these days where it's all about the sale, but after the sale, like it's you don't like a lot of people just don't feel quite like they're getting what they were promised. Because once you pay the person, I've dealt with a lot of this stuff as well in my acting career. And also in business where you go to somebody, you expect them to do this job, and then it's like as soon as they're paid, they're kind of like or they have like this weird system that's hands off and they don't really touch it. It sounds like what you do is you look at all the moving parts of it, and I can relate with when I'm doing developing a property. You're personally involved. Yeah, like there's a piece of you that is personally involved in developing these brands for people and to make sure that everything is like you don't win unless they win.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. Like
right.
that's amazing. It's actually something where when people will ask why you and not someone else, right? It's well, when you look at other people, it's like what I always say is this with my company, I always say, if you call, I'm the one answering the phone. I'm coming. So the reason why to choose me is you're not going to get a call center. You're not going to get any of that. I'm going to answer this phone, and you're going to tell me that hey, you're having an issue with something or a problem or something like that. I'm going to get in my truck and I'm going to drive to your place and I'm going to handle it. And it doesn't need to be 9 to 5. We're dealing with solar power grids. You might need help at 2 a.m. Like I won't leave you behind, and I won't leave you wondering or feeling nervous
Right.
about anything.
it also happens, because I've known you for quite a while. You love what you do,
Yeah.
and you love what you do for yourself on your own property. You bring the same love to what you do to other people when do you install whatever you need to install, and you're not just working to get the money, right? A lot of people they're working. They got a job they hate to do, and that's why they try not to do anything. And you know. Um, I'm not here to blame, but look, if you don't enjoy being a teacher and you complain about crappy salary, then just don't do it.
Yeah.
There are people like you, like me. I love that stuff, and I don't care if I'm paid 40 grand. Like, really, I love the result, right?
Mhm,
And with the kids that I mentor, I do a lot of things I pay out of my own pocket. And does it make me feel bad? No, I enjoy it.
mhm,
It's it's um it's a strange thing for probably a lot of people, and I would say uh, us being in a capitalist environment, I see a lot of people they are trying to get used to something stable, like get a job and just
mhm.
live it. Now that you've mentioned the actors, I think I shared with you a little program that I wanted to start for the actors, because a lot of the actors are kind of scammed by selling them the dream or selling them the
Yeah.
stardom or some. People don't really have them like, hey, sit down, and this is how it works. Your acting, sure, it's important, but it's not the most important. You could develop it on your own. You have the passion, like for example, yourself. You practice on your own a lot. You don't need
Mhm.
someone to kick your butt to move.
Yeah.
But it's about who you know, it's about what you can do, and it's about the value that you bring. And if your brand, your name doesn't represent value, people won't choose you. If
Mhm,
people don't know you, uh, they don't choose you. And for actors, one of the, I would say, very important thing is it's not that when the camera's rolling, you're working. You're working every day again by brushing your teeth, having a cup of warm water with lemon, exercise, practice diction, practice this acting technique or that. It's all part of your work as an actor or as an actress.
mhm,
So when you're on set, it's just one of pieces. It's like a little um, top of the iceberg of the whole amount of work that you have to do. And that's why people who are on top think of Brad Pitt, right, or Meryl Streep. They are great because the work that they do behind the camera.
mhm,
And no one really sees that. People think, oh, stardom, oh, money. No. Also, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He developed himself in athletics. He developed himself in business. He was a multimillionaire before he started in film, and that gave him strength to pick and choose and be only accept big roles.
mhm.
He didn't need the paycheck, and he smart enough to leverage film into more money on his business and vice versa. So he grew, his paychecks grew as well. And then something didn't work. He went into politics. He was flexible to pivot and use all of the talents, all of the skills that he has. So it's not about taking headshots. It's not about getting an agent. It's not about acting classes. It's a waste of money. It's about your brand. And
Mhm.
look, even now, I don't know if I share with you, but I got a company which created and produced Woody Woodpecker, right?
Mm,
Uh, they got interested in my show Annie and Axie, and they want a few of TikTok influencers to voice over, not Brad Pitt, not Meryl Streep. They
mhm.
want influencers, which means it's the value that is up to date right now. The
Yeah.
kids don't know Brad Pitt is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing as an actor, we always, well, way I feel actually is all that work off camera just for that moment on camera, you get to play because you did all the work and then you get to have your fun and you get to play. Um, uh, Also, yes, another thing too, something that you said to me a while ago that has always stuck with me is to make your money somewhere else.
yeah,
And when it comes to acting, make your money somewhere else, and that's worked out really, really. good for me so far is to just not be focused on that and then just focus on that as the passion and my business and building my brand. So I've learned a lot about that from you. One there's 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 a question that I'm testing this question out because I'm not sure if it's sooner or later gonna like hit something wrong, but I have a theory and I'm gonna be testing this theory on this podcast. Okay. So I'm
Sure.
gonna ask you this question. Too personal, you don't have to answer it. So, were you bullied? I'll put context behind this. I believe behind every great entrepreneur or success story, there's a moment where someone was bullied and they either stood up to their bully in one way or another through success or through something. But like a lot of I have this feeling that a lot of successful entrepreneurs were bullied when they were younger.
That's interesting. So I went through attempts, and I had fun fighting back, and I took it smart enough. So I would be engaged in the fight. Sometimes you punch, sometimes you miss, um, or by someone trying to catch me and take the money out of me, and then I'm okay. If I fight 10 people right now, I'll lose probably too many teeth, and it's just reality. So I'll give the money today, and then I'll come back tomorrow with my folks, with 5, 6 cars full of my friends, with baseball bats, and they will pay me back more, and it's not going to happen again. So I've been engaged in fights. For us in Europe, fights is normal. It's we fight today and we're friends tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, but I went through these attempts. I was the tallest, in in my primary school, middle school, and older folks, they tried to pick on me, which okay, let's give it a try. I don't mind. I found it interesting, and it was fun to drive back with my peers in a few cars with folks with baseball bats and ready to have some fun. Um, Honestly, we never had a big fight. Everything was finished in a peaceful and smart enough negotiation, because the other folks, the other part or side, they had some sort of like spies who would spy around the neighborhood, and they would know that we have some backup waiting for us. And we would talk, they would apologize, they would pay me back everything plus, so we don't engage, and they would never do the same attempt. That was my story. Yeah.
So as a showrunner and a delegator, sounds like all the way back then you were figuring out how to delegate people, how to play a system, lead it to negotiations. Like, okay, you took my money, I'm going to take back more. It kind of sounds like since a young age you know, you've just had that brain that kind of works that way. And that's awesome. But it also kind of sounds like you just had a bunch of rumbles going on between gangs, with the baseball bats and all the
It was not a gang. It was just, we grew up kind of naive and pure friends. That's why when we were calling each other the N word, just hey, buddy, like brother, right? We didn't really know much about the world, and it's just a bunch of my friends who we played soccer with, and we always stood up for each other.
Mhm,
And that was a nice, pure-hearted brotherhood, and they would go against what is wrong, right? So let's say once I had a former student of mine who decided to sabotage my martial arts school, and he would do everything that it takes to take away the location from us. And my folks just stood up because that location provided a lot of kids with martial arts education, health, not drugs, not alcohol, something good for the society. They were over there right away to go beat him up, which say, okay, let's let's just talk and see what's happening. So it was a good team. Not much of a gang stuff, but we were kind of a powerful team. Yeah, gang in a way.
yeah. Well, your tribe. It was a tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Victor, where where can we find you? What are all the links and all the places where I also know where can we watch some of your films? Tell us all of that.
Um, well, if someone needs to reach out, I think the best way would be my Instagram. I get most of my messages over there, and that's me and the team. That's what we're checking. And then, depending on the context of the message, we'll decide whether it's an email or something like that. Stuff wise, I try to publish some stuff on YouTube to have it, in open access. But my show is on Prime, which everyone can watch, and a few more things are coming up on Air, Life Academy, season one, Dragon Chef, the cooking show, season one is coming up. So we'll have quite a few add-ons. Films wise, the documentaries which I create, they are personal, and I let my client decide on what they want to do because there's personal story behind. It's something, let them decide if they want to make it public, and then we'll see. But we have premieres in movie theaters, and they gather lots of people. um, I don't know how many people will have the Las Vegas baseball presentation. I do like what is coming along. I'll share with you after our episode today some snippets, and we'll see what you say.
Okay. All right. And then when it comes to the branding opportunities for our audience, anyone who wants to work on their brand, where should they contact you on that?
Again, I would say Instagram is
Okay.
for everything. I get messages from actors around the world, even China sometimes, because they have the VPN, and they would ask me some advice, and I'm happy to share. Right? I grew up in a little Jewish town in Europe, and I saw how the communities grow by helping each other instead of not helping each other. And I see that LA is quite, in a not the healthiest way, individualistic. I'm like, hey, I help you, you rise, you have more money, now you can hire me, I make more money. And now we can hire, let's say, the third friend, right?
Mhm.
That's how we all grow. And I'm a strong believer in that, and I do not mind sharing. And all the seminars that I would run around the States or also in the UK, I'm prepping for one in Europe again. I don't charge, right? I want everybody to race together and develop together. And you never know. A student today could be a director who will invite you to have the role in the film tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Victor Migalchan, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for speaking with me. I think it's absolutely beautiful from where you came from and making the pivot and to get into Hollywood and then to build yourself to where you are today. The amount of passion and love you put into all your work and the way that you take care of everybody on the set. I personally have experienced that. Is kind of unmatched in a lot of my experiences in the Hollywood world or the film world. And it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you and to be a close friend. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine, and thank you for having me.
All right.